the game is clear. He's a champ when all else disappears. Rally the team with a wink and a cheer. He's the leader that everyone fears. Quickly, it's a real heater. Once my friend, he's a locker room leader. In the chaos, he's the center, turning us into believers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Monday night. It is 7 p.m. and that means it is time once again for the Locker Room Breakdown. This is our Raw perspective where we break down the goings-on of everything happening on Monday Night Raw. We review last week, we preview this week, and ladies and gentlemen, I cannot wait for tonight. But last week, the Mecca, Madison Square Garden, and the last time is now. John Cena's final appearance on Monday Night Raw took place last week from New York City. And as expected, John Cena opened the show as the Intercontinental Champion, ready to put the title on the line, ready to defend. He basked in the cheers. He reveled in it. And as he always does so humbly, he thanked us, the WWE Universe. He was looking for a fight. He got a challenge. Something we had been hearing for quite some time when Dirty Dom interrupted him, the former Intercontinental Champion, the man who lost the Intercontinental Championship to John just a week earlier in Boston. John said, hey, you want a rematch? Let's go. We can do this right now. Dom said no. To Dom's credit, he played up. You know, you had management on your side. You had the home field advantage the week before in Boston. If we're going to do this, we're doing this on my time. And we're going to do it in San Diego, California, my hometown, in front of my people, where I have the home field advantage. So we are now guaranteed that Intercontinental Championship match that we were hearing, Dom and John Cena in San Diego. I cannot wait for this match, ladies and gentlemen. This is a huge, huge rematch. Dom really be given the spotlight and the chance to really shine on one of the biggest stages of the year. At this point, however, they were interrupted again as the Judgment Day, JD McDonough and Finn Balor, made their way to the ring because John was looking for a fight. Good evening, Mr. Best. Thank you for stopping in. Always a pleasure to have you here. And we are just going over last week and just how we opened the show. And it looked like it was going to be a 3-on-1 beatdown of John Cena, when all of a sudden Sheamus's music hit, which was really, really intriguing. And I was a big proponent of Sheamus winning the Last Time Is Now tournament for the opportunity to win the Intercontinental Championship in John Cena's final match. Not a popular decision among a lot of people, but c'est la vie. Right after Sheamus got to the ring, Rey Mysterio's music hit. Rey came out and John said, get me a ref, we're going to do this six-man style. So we opened the show with that promo into a six-man tag. John Cena, Sheamus, and Rey versus the Judgment Day. To call this a case of the old guard versus the new guard is somewhat apropos here because Finn hasn't been around the WWE as long as any of those three legends. At the same time, he has been around enough. JD has been around for about 5 years. Dom, the same. This was a fantastic match. It was not certainly the match of the night by any stretch, but a good, solid match to open the show. Everybody got everything in. We saw 619, we saw a Brogue Kick, we saw an AA, we saw the Frog Splash, we saw the coup de grace, we saw the moonsault. Is this really the way we wanted to have John Cena leave the Mecca and have his final match on Monday Night Raw? For me, that's a hard no. Did the Intercontinental Championship have to be on the line? No, but I would have loved to see a one-on-one match. I would have loved to see John Cena step up and say, hey, Sheamus, come on down, get your opportunity. We've had our wars. But you get what you get. And like I said, this was a solid match with Cena, Mysterio, and Sheamus winning. This did turn into the old school cluster bomb in terms of a multi-man match, though, as far as I am concerned. Just really, for me, not what John Cena needed to do on his final Raw. Afterwards, we did then see Paul Heyman in the back, addressing Adam Pearce, addressing Nick Aldis. Mr. Best, you're right. It was a fun match. And I'm not looking to dump on it. It was fun. It was a good, solid way to start the show. But Paul Heyman telling both Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, who were there for the last time is now tournament, saying, if you thought my fourth pick in Drew McIntyre upset you, wait until you see my fifth pick, and we are going to get to that in just a little while. And Paul Heyman handed them a contract, and they both just shook their heads. Up next, another segment I really didn't need. Stephanie Vicaire was making her way to the ring for an interview to address the situation with Nikki Bella, and Nikki attacked her coming down the entranceway. Like, again, you gave Nikki Bella her token Intercontinental Championship match, which she lost, and Becky absolutely carried that match. Now we're going to do this same thing with Stephanie Vicaire and the Women's Championship. If we're going to do something with Nikki Bella, let's let her do something to her strengths, so to speak. You don't have to put her in a title match. You don't have to push her to the top. She is a Hall of Famer. We all know and we've all acknowledged she doesn't have... She's not up to full speed. She is not ready for this. Let her work with somebody that can work with her. I'm going to say this. Move her to NXT for a little bit, please. I do not need Nikki Bella and Stephanie Vicaire. Nikki did, of course, hold up the title, signifying the challenge, and that is yet another match we are going to get at Survivor Series. I would love to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I am here for that match. I'm not. That is a match that could have waited. It could have happened tonight. It could have happened next Monday. I don't need that at Survivor Series. And I do hope that this is the match where Nikki decides to maybe hang it up. But we know Nikki's comments over the past week on social media. It's not likely. The last time is now tournament. Solo Sikoa in his first round match against a mystery opponent. Who could it be? The previous Friday, we saw Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder. Last Monday, we heard I'm here to show the world, and Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth, ladies and gentlemen, made his return to face Solo Sikoa. Everybody here at the Raw Patrol and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program on for that show absolutely went nuts. We loved it. Would I have liked to see somebody like a Dolph Ziggler move on? Absolutely, I would. Solo's had his run with John Cena. Solo's had his run with Cody Rhodes. Let Solo focus on the MFTs and building them up to be what they are intended to be. Let a Dolph Ziggler, let one of these mystery opponents move on. This, however, was a fantastic match. Again, not the match of the night, but a fantastic, solid match. Ziggler did his usual, absolutely selling everything, got in his offense, showed his resilience, showed his grit, showed why he was the show off and why he would steal the show the same way he would steal your girlfriend. This was Dolph Ziggler at his absolute best. Yes, he came out wearing the Wanted Man jacket, but he had the Dolph Ziggler theme, which, like I said, everybody here popped for. This was great. This was a fun nostalgia run. But I don't think that you needed to go there. I loved it because I'm a huge Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth guy. But this, again, there were so many other credible competitors that could have stepped into that spot. I know that Ziggler and Cardona both have a long history with the WWE, and that was what it was for. And I don't get me wrong, because I am here for it. I'm hoping that we do get another surprise in this tournament. Solo did win with the Samoan Spike, and he did have Tala Tonga at ringside with him. But I don't remember if it really affected the outcome. I'm just sort of checking my reports. No, there wasn't. So good to see that we really started getting interference in this tournament this past Friday on SmackDown, and we will get into that another time. But ladies and gentlemen, next up, after what happened on Friday where Charlotte walked out on Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky, it left us questioning. We were asking, who is a suitable replacement for Charlotte Flair? Well, Alexa Bliss came out and called out Charlotte. Said, "You are my best friend. You've been posting photos all over social media from your time here in New York City. What is it going to take? I am your best friend." However, then she was interrupted by the Kabuki Warriors, Nia Jax and Lash Legend, with Charlotte then coming to make the save with a kendo stick. And again, I'm here for it. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky came out to make the save, and they fought off the Kabuki Warriors, Nia and Lash, in this situation. This was really the most entertaining segment of the show to this point, because you've got that chaos coming with War Games. And ladies and gentlemen, when you get these women who are this fired up, and I mean, we haven't seen Alexa Bliss in a lot of action this year, despite her return at the Royal Rumble. Her matchup in the Elimination Chamber, which I was there for, it's always been a big stip match. The Elimination Chamber, the Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, War Games. We haven't seen her really on any PLEs this year other than those four. If you want to have some added credibility to Alexa's return, ladies and gentlemen, book her stronger. Give her more TV and in-ring time. We know towards the end of the tag team title run, she was starting to build that TV time. But build her. Put her on TV. Put her on the PLEs. Put her in positions where she wins and loses on her own merit. The fact that she started all of this, she initiated what happened last week in this war. This is what I need and want to see more of from and for Alexa Bliss. And then the surprise of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Something that I had pegged as our main event. Becky Lynch defending the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Maxine Dupri. I said last week and the week before, you do not need to rush Maxine to the Intercontinental Championship spot. She is truly, in my opinion, the most improved wrestler since Liv Morgan. But did you really need to go and put her in the third time's the charm type match to win the Intercontinental Championship? I don't think so. I think you could have given her the shot. I don't think she needed to win. I think that is something better served, say 6 months from now, maybe a year. Something where she is ready and not just going to be positioned as a transitional champion to get the belt to somebody else. A fun match. A very, very fun match. I did quite enjoy it. We saw the rekindling of Becky Lynch and Jessica Carr as Becky got into Jessica's face, poking her, shoving her. Jessica Carr ripping the arm away. Not doing it to, try and force an unprofessional move on her part. Just ripping the arm away, saying, "Don't touch me." Becky was again getting ready. Oh, Becky was trying to take off the turnbuckle pad when we got the return for the first time since WrestlePalooza of AJ Lee. And I said, a while ago, AJ Lee Becky Lynch feud does not need the Intercontinental Championship at its center. And I'm really glad that we're not going that direction. But that distraction caused Becky Lynch to lose via a top rope crossbody to Maxine Dupri? Really? A top rope crossbody. When is the last time we saw that move? Pin somebody prior to last week. I think you could have had Maxine use her long legs and take Becky's head off with a kick, whether it's a super kick, the big boot, a leg drop, something. A top rope cross body. I realized that it was the distraction and Becky was, off guard. But still, Maxine Dupri is your new Women's Intercontinental Championship. Not something I am huge on, but I am intrigued to see where it goes from here, ladies and gentlemen, for Maxine, for that Women's Intercontinental Championship. Does Lyra start to push back towards that title? Do we get some new contenders? Does a Bayley challenge? Does Natalya return and challenge? Ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of questions surrounding this. There are a multitude of directions we can go. I do hope that it is not just a quick transitional 2 to 3 week run for Maxine Dupri. I hope that if you're going to do this, you're going to at least let her have 2 to 3 successful defenses over a 3-month span. Let her see, give it a true test, although even 3 months really isn't a long enough defined test. Let's see how she picks it up, how she handles that pressure. Does she stay resilient or does she crack under the pressure? Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to our main event match of the night. Another one in the Last Time Is Now tournament. Javon Evans, the young OG from NXT, stepping in to take on a returning Gunther. I thought this was going to be an unaliving. I am happy to say it was not. Now, the result was as expected. Gunther did still have a fairly dominant victory. Mr. Best saying it was Ricky Steamboat's finisher. Well, there you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I rest my case. A crossbody off the top rope does not win matches, typically, in this day and age. Javon put up a hell of a fight and a hell of a match with Gunther, eating Gunther's chops, eating Gunther's offense, delivering his own style, his own flair, his own match as well. Gunther seemed to be caught off guard by the speed and the agility. But this was Gunther, the ring general, who did tap out young Javon Evans with the sleeper hold. Again, I thought this was going to be the unaliving of Javon Evans. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to say we did not get that. Now, the final segment of the night, which was supposed to be a War Games face-to-face for the men's team. You had the vision of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, and Drew McIntyre coming down to go face-to-face in a chance to talk smack with the Usos, CM Punk, and Cody Rhodes. There was no talk, ladies and gentlemen. This was just good, old-fashioned chaos. Everybody just started wailing on each other. CM Punk and Logan Paul eventually centered themselves out in the ring. Logan Paul really was taking it early to Punk. Punk turned around, built the momentum, had everything set, was going, had Paul up for the GTS when Brock Lesnar's music hit. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I have said it. I love Brock. I'm a fan. I don't need him for War Games. I don't need him to come back. I know he has that history. I know he fits the power that Bronson Reed and Braun are trying to envision. But I did not need Brock Lesnar returning for this. This really doesn't do anything for Brock and for his career. He doesn't need the War Games match. He doesn't need the vision. He doesn't need Paul Heyman. I know he is an attraction, and I'm a big fan of that. But again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just tired of it. I've had discussions with multiple people over the years who are tired of a guy comes back, wrestles one match, disappears for 3 months, to come back, wrestle one match, disappear for 3 months. That's where I am at with Brock Lesnar. As much of a fan as I am of the guy. Right after that, Brock laid out Punk. Brock laid out Cody. Brock went to go and shake Paul Heyman's hand. When the tribal chief returned. This really wasn't a surprise, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody was anticipating Roman Reigns' return. But again, ladies and gentlemen, I realize that War Games is the bloodline match, and this year is no different. You're just going back to the original bloodline, before Solo, before Sammy. Roman with the Usos. Cody Rhodes replacing Sami Zayn from last year, and CM Punk. So, I'm going to say this, ladies and gentlemen. This one here really, really leaves me interested, because I think that this is now going to be the Vision dog walking this team. Because you've got Roman Reigns, who is going to want to be in charge. Cody, who has defeated Roman Reigns for the championship, is going to want to be in charge. CM Punk, your world heavyweight champion, the man who teamed with Roman Reigns last year, fought him at WrestleMania, is going to want to be in charge. And the Usos are going to fall in line. Who's really going to lead and guide this team, ladies and gentlemen? I really don't know. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is War Games. We are a week out. This coming Saturday, and you can join us for the PLE Patrol, just as you can join us for all of the great programming here at the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursday we go TNA when we brace for Impact at 7:55 p.m. Eastern. Friday we secure all details as we answer the call for the SmackDown security detail at 8 p.m. Eastern. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day. The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at carlcarafell.redbubble.com.
A Turnbuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today, because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you have ever wanted your break in podcasting, content creation, potential collaboration, or to help us out behind the scenes, turnbucklestudios.org is the place to be. Go to the host section and meet your team. Myself, Bubba Duke, Chris Parrish, Chris Best, and the Godfather, Carl Carafell. Watch our latest weekly episodic shows, get our social media. And as you saw, that's our weekly calendar. That does not include the special events like the PLE Patrol, like what's coming up this coming Saturday, the following weekend with NXT Deadline hosted by Chris Parrish, and then, of course, Saturday night's main event and John Cena's last match. Go to the shop section to go to carlcarafell.redbubble.com and buy all of your Turnbuckle Affiliation Program merch. All of those proceeds come back into our studios to give you a better viewing experience. And most importantly, hit the join button to send us an email. We can sit down as a collective, figure out the best fit. Tell us how you can help us. Tell us how we can help you. Ladies and gentlemen, turnbucklestudios.org, the hottest site on the internet. Do it, and do it now. On to tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a very, very intriguing show, especially with War Games looming. We have an advantage match. But I digress. Roman Reigns is going to open the show. Now, I don't know if this is going to be just Roman, if it's going to be Roman and the Bloodline, or if it is going to be everybody involved on that team. There was a bit of a tense confrontation last Monday after Raw went off the air, where Punk told Roman, "You better not stab me in the back," and Roman said, no, I will face you like a man and stab you in the heart. Ladies and gentlemen, I am intrigued by this. I want to see where this goes. I'm going to assume that this is going to really lead to gang warfare and set the tone for the night. The Men's War Games Advantage match. I just mentioned it. We do not know who is going to be participating from each squad. Typically, these matches are one-on-one. Mr. Best, thank you for reminding me. Yes, Mr. Best program Saturday Night Gaming during the PLE Patrols over the next 3 weekends will be Saturday afternoon gaming with the time to be determined. But this is one-on-one match. Typically, you are going to get a ton of shenanigans because of the War Games. I really don't think you're going to get that this time. You're probably going to get one or two people coming out to create havoc, but it's not going to be overly influential. And what this advantage match means is that the winner of this match, his team, because in War Games, you have to go 3 minutes. Then the next person will leave the cage at the top of the ramp. So you are going to have 2-on-1, 3-on-2, 4-on-3, 5-on-4, all for 3 minutes. And the match doesn't officially begin until everybody is inside the War Games structure. We've touched on it all night. Yes, Mr. Best, you just heard me say 3 minutes. The last time is now tournament. We have 2 quarterfinal matches here tonight, as we will get Gunther versus Carmelo Hayes from SmackDown. Gunther, long rumored to be the odds-on favorite to win this match and this tournament. There are a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, I love Gunther, but he retired Goldberg this year. I don't need him to do John Cena's last match and be the guy to retire him as well. I think that is better saved for somebody like a Rusev or a young up-and-comer like a Carmelo Hayes. I am not going to go so far as to say this is an unaliving, because we all know what Melo can bring. Melo can deliver. Melo will deliver. I do think, however, that Gunther is going to win this match. This one is probably going to be even a little bit closer than what we had last week with Gunther and Javon Evans. I expect Melo to move a little bit faster, use his experience, use his main roster knowledge, use his NXT championship experience. We all know Gunther has all of those same qualities as well. But I think Melo is up here when it comes to Gunther, where Javon Evans was about here. As well, in the Last Time Is Now tournament, Solo Sikoa will go 1-on-1 with Penta. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I have said it, I think for a guy like Penta, this would absolutely be huge. Penta, for me, has been, since he's come to WWE, from being one of the most hyped to an enhancement talent with an entrance. I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I know some of it has to do with the stop-start booking for him. And that is beyond his control. So a chance to do this would be absolutely huge. Solo, like I said, he's had his thing with John Cena. He's had his thing with Cody. He doesn't need to go and do this. Give me Penta for the win in this one here. Becky Lynch is slated to appear after what we saw on SmackDown. To close SmackDown, ladies and gentlemen, the team of Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Charlotte, and Alexa went out to the ring. Rhea again taking the lead, saying, "I'd like to introduce you to our 5th member." And as AJ Lee was making her way out, the 4 of them were blasted from behind by Nia, Lash, and the Kabuki Warriors. As AJ got to the ringside area, she was blindsided by Becky Lynch. And in that case, the heels did leave Rhea, Io, Charlotte, Alexa, and AJ laid out. So this is going to be Becky Lynch addressing that, addressing her status, and what's she going to do with what she did. because it was never made official that she was on the War Games team. But, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to 100% guess that that is exactly what she is going to do tonight. And I think that this is going to lead to absolute chaos. Again, we do not have the Women's War Games Championship or Women's War Games Advantage match yet tonight, and I assume we're going to get that this coming Friday on SmackDown. But I would be intrigued to see if this develops into something more. Does Becky address Jessica Card? Does Becky address Maxine Dupree taking the Intercontinental Championship? I'm sure all of those things are going to play a factor in this. Brock Lesnar and CM Punk are slated to appear. Both legitimate Paul Heyman guys. Both guys who were managed by Heyman. Both guys who were managed by Heyman at the same time at one point in their careers. Do we notice a common thread, ladies and gentlemen? Paul Heyman. He is going to be front and center in the middle of this. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe I'm going to jump the gun here. But there, right there, CM Punk and Brock Lesnar should be your advantage match for tonight. Now, that War Games advantage match will be your main event, and I'm sure we will find out who that is when we tune into Raw and the Raw Patrol coming up here in about 15 minutes on the Turnbuckle Studios YouTube page. As well, Dominic Mysterio is going to come out and address his upcoming match with John Cena. What's he going to say? Is he going to address Finn Balor and JD? Is he going to thank them for having his back last week and making it a 6-man tag? Or is he going to tell them, you know what, guys, San Diego, let me go out there and do it on my own. Let me go out there and beat John on my own. Let me win in my hometown on my own. This is very, very intriguing, ladies and gentlemen. Dominic also heavily involved in AAA. And there was a situation over in AAA this past weekend, which I'm sure we will touch on during the Raw Patrol. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Where do we go with this between Stephanie Vaquer and Nikki Bella? We already know the match is set for this coming Saturday. Oh, my friend, the Bulkster. He's coming in. Good evening, my friend. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. We appreciate you and all of the hard work you put in behind the scenes for this show. I couldn't do it without you. Always a pleasure to have you here. Again, like I said, this is a match I don't really need at Survivor Series. I really don't need this segment tonight. If you're going to do anything, maybe make it a backstage interview. Even do it, with them in 2 separate rooms with the mic being interviewed by the commentary. That is really all I need for that. I don't need it eating up a ton of Monday Night Raw. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the time once again has come. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking for me on the socials, you can find me at my Linktree, linktr.ee/OMD show. From all of us here at the Locker Room Breakdown and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, please remember the world is better with you in it. From all of us here to all of you out there, wherever you are, good night, Good luck. I'm out.
In the locker room, a guy you'll find loves bad hockey, teams can't deny. His best friend to shut the hand so true, loyal until his friend goes number 2. During the heat of the game, it's clear he's a champ when all else disappears. Rally the team with a wink and a cheer. He's the leader that everyone fears.